the Pittsburgh Steelers go into Buffalo and Bills Mafia, and they come out victorious with a score of 23-16. Obviously, T.J. Watt getting that massive deal in terms of the biggest deal for a defensive player in NFL history. And they go and they show out. Pittsburgh defense does a lot. Pittsburgh defense, they go out there, they make life pretty much hell for Josh Allen on his side of the ball. And they keep him to a QBR of 40.9, which is just not something that we're familiar with seeing, at least as of last season with Josh Allen. But the negative here, once again, Kyle and I talk about this all the time. Buffalo became one-dimensional, 51 passing attempts for the Bills. Yep. They did run the ball a lot more than we've ever seen with 25 total attempts, but they could not overcome Pittsburgh's offense, kind of just going down there and doing what they needed to do, just effective football. Granted, Ben had a bad game himself. He only had 188 yards with a QBR of 28. So it really just I can't even say it was the offense. I completely misspoke. That's 100% the defense on Pittsburgh's side. Pittsburgh's defense had a total of 3 sacks, 5 tackles for losses, and they had a touchdown. That was the difference right there, truthfully. So I'm going to be, wow, well, Josh Allen had 2 fumbles. Devin Singletary had 2 fumbles, but Josh Allen only lost 1 of them. So, they did dodge the bullet. So I'm not going to panic, and I'm not going to go out there and say Buffalo screwed. The game was only a 7-point game, even with the 4 fumbles, and Josh Allen will bounce back. So we will see what happens. My thing is, can Pittsburgh play better than this with Ben being as old as he is and the offensive line struggling against Buffalo the way they did?
I think the thing that we have to focus on here is that through the first 3 quarters of this game, both defenses were playing phenomenal. The fact of the matter is the Buffalo only scored 10 points through the first 3 quarters, and Pittsburgh only scored 6 through the first 3 quarters. I don't know what happened in the 4th quarter, but apparently the defenses just said, okay, we've had enough of playing solid defense. We're just going to let everything fly at this point, because Buffalo was able to put up 6 more points in the 4th quarter. But Pittsburgh dominated the 4th quarter. They scored 17 points in the 4th quarter. And on the road in a hostile environment like Buffalo, that's impressive to me. The fact of the matter is they were able to overcome their offensive ineptitude in the first 3 quarters when it mattered the most. They were able to put some drives together. Remember Ben, he had a nice little corner fade to Deontay Johnson. I know that because Deontay's on my fantasy team. That was the only touchdown.
Mine too, thank God.
That I got from him. So at least Pittsburgh was able to get it together when it mattered the most, because to be quite honest with you, watching this game in the first half, it was tough to watch because neither offense could get it going whatsoever. Buffalo only scored 1 touchdown the entire game. So this is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is coming off one of the better seasons that we saw last year as far as quarterbacks goes. But it's like you said, 51 pass attempts. That is just too many. You have to be more balanced. I am glad that they ran the ball. They had 117 yards rushing. Devin Singletary had, I think, around like 75 to 80 yards rushing in today's game. So it's not bad, but they need to get more consistency with running the ball. And I'm looking at Brian Daboll here. Brian Daboll is the offensive coordinator for the Bills. And the fact of the matter is you're putting way too much pressure on Josh Allen to get it done. Josh Allen is a phenomenal quarterback. He has a freaking cannon. But 51 pass attempts? No. He only had 254 yards passing. So
that ain't it, Chief.
No. You got to give credit to Pittsburgh, though. Their defense withstood 51 pass attempts for Josh Allen and only held him to 250 yards passing. That's solid. And if I'm Mike Tomlin, I got to be just giddy about the fact that his defense was able to hold Buffalo, which is a high-powered offense. You got Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. You have Cole Beasley. You also have Emmanuel Sanders. He came to Buffalo this offseason. Buffalo has an offense. And they got limited to 16 points. So I got to give a lot of credit to the Steelers defense for showing up when it mattered the most. That was a huge road win for them. I know the Steelers had a phenomenal start to last year, but they fell apart completely at the end of the season, and going into the playoffs, they completely butchered it against Cleveland. but they bounced back in a huge way here because this was a huge road win for them. And, maybe it's a sign of things to come. I know last year, the way that it ended kind of left like a bad taste in everybody's mouth with Pittsburgh, but that's a big win for them. I got to give credit where credit is due. Their defense played outstanding today, and Big Ben showed up when it mattered the most in the fourth quarter.